comfortable. All right. So I asked my what's going to be my student, is my student is going to be my assistant today. We're going to do something a little bit different. For y'all to think that we are in there doing cutesy stuff in children's church, we do not. We're going to have children's church for the adults. I'm sorry, the snacks didn't make it here in time. That's the only thing we're missing is the snacks. All right. All right. And so this is going to be one of those interactive services. Yeah, nobody is off the handle for today. There is no sit back and then you watch me stand up here and pretend to look cute. We have a work to do. If you paid attention to last week's message, oh yeah, there's notebooks. KK, don't forget to ask Brother White if he would like one. There's notebooks, there's pens, there's assignment. Oh, we about to dive deep today. Yeah, for everybody who thought that I be in there doing cutesy stuff and stuffing your babies with sugar, I am not. I do stuff her with sugar, but that is not the only thing that we do up in there. All right. So before we begin this today, let me tell you where this lesson stems from. So in my prayer time, and everybody knows that I spend my quality time in the morning, I spend my time in prayer. And there was there's a woman, and I need to give her credit, that's interesting, apostle, prophetess Alicia Jones, who I spend my mornings with. I opened up my day and I started with prayer. And before she prays, she teaches from the Word, and she's been studying the book of Matthew. And so she teaches from the Word, and then she gives a prophetic word, and then she prays, she intercedes for everyone. If you put your prayer requests in the comments, then she's praying. We're all praying. It's collective prayer. And so she was dealing with Matthew chapter 14. And she was dealing with the story of the death of John the Baptist. So if you want to, you can go over there. We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 14. And so look, because we're going to be doing so much scripture today, let me just sum this up for you. So John the Baptist was imprisoned by King Herod for condemning his unlawful marriage to Herodias. And though Herod feared killing John due to public opinion, Herodias manipulated the situation. I'm sorry. It should be 3 pages. They should be all stapled and paper clipped together. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's double check. Now, for those of you who are online, if you're in the app, you can go into the sermon notes and you can follow along. Did you separate them? Assistant? Assistant. You're supposed to hand them out paperclip. All right. While you figure that out, let's get it together. Assistant, they should have 3 pages. We good? Nope, she missed one. Come on. Here you go. My baby, a work in progress. She a work in progress. Okay. All right. We on the same page? Matthew. Awesome. All right. So Matthew chapter 14. Basically, let me sum this up because there's so many scriptures. Now, though Herod feared killing John due to public opinion, Herodias manipulated the situation. And during Herod's birthday feast, her daughter danced for the guests, prompting Herod to make a reckless promise. At her mother's urging, the girl requested John's head on a platter, forcing King Herod to fulfill the oath despite his regret. And John was executed, and his disciples buried his body before informing Jesus. Upon hearing the news, Jesus withdrew to a quiet place, showing his grief. However, when the crowds followed him, he chose compassion over solitude, healing the sick and continuing his ministry. So I'm going to stop right there for a second, put a pin. So, I'm sorry, that was me. So this really opened my eyes. We talk about, there was this whole thing back in the late 90s, mid 90s, the whole 90s. What would Jesus do? And for those who are old enough to remember that, there were bracelets and everything, and we would ask, like, what would Jesus do? And that really prompted me to be like, okay, so God, you said that we're in a season of famine. What would you do in a situation like that? Like, we always think about all the miracles and all the stuff that he did. But if we're going to be Christ-like, because he didn't command us to be Christians, not just to say that we are Christ-like, but to be holy, for he is holy. So literally what that means is that we are to act by the example that he led. So what does that really look like? So while we're going through some things, while like this has not been easy. Like, since this year alone, I think I have lost 4 or 5 family members. Like, it's just been like, every time my mom will call me, or I'll look on Facebook and I'll be like, oh, another family member. Really? We lost another one? Okay. When's the funeral service? Do they need anything? Let me pray. And it's been so much back to back that at this point, like, let me be honest with you. If we're going to be transparent, and today, what I need for you to know that this is a safe space. Whatever you say stays with us. And that we're going to be really transparent. At this point, like, for me, being transparent, like, I'm like really numb to it. I'm like, all I could do is pray, keep going. And so, like, reading this passage in the book of Matthew, and I'm like, Jesus, let me make this practical for you. Like, John the Baptist was his predecessor. He was his forerunner. They were like, you know how we are family to one another? This was his family. Like, out of all the people that had died in Jesus' time, and Lazarus and all of them, this was his kinfolk. This hurt. Jesus hurt. And on top of it, like so many of us in this season, you're finding like our loved ones are dropping so fast. Our friends, our family members, you don't even have time to go to the service. You don't have a chance to say goodbye. You are just grieving. And understanding that Jesus endured the same thing. I'm like, Dad, Jesus, like, did we do the same thing? Like, let me keep it real personal for a second. I lost my niece in March. She was 20 years old. Her name was Lachey Harmon, and her life was taken by a man. She was a mother of a 2-year-old. And I found this out on my way here to service. I didn't even have a chance to react. I had to call my brother after the fact. This was his child, my oldest brother. This was his child. She was unalive for no reason. And the person who did it went on the run. Now, happy update, he has been captured. And he will stand in not only God's judgment, but the court's judgment. So praise God for that. And so I find myself in a situation, I'm like, okay, when is the funeral service? They didn't know when the funeral service, they didn't exactly have a funeral service. And I'm like, it's in California. I can't get there. Okay, then all I could do is just pray. And I just need a moment. Like, if I could just get a moment. Just give me a moment. Jesus was the same way. He like, look, this one hurt. I need a moment. I just need to, I have no problem. I will heal the sick. I will cast out the demons. I will preach the word. Can I just get a moment? And sometimes we don't get that moment. And to be honest with you, in the midst of our grief, we don't always act right. And this is where this whole entire message that I pray does not become a series, but pre-warning, this is probably going to be a series. Yes, I know. Just like you, I am a fruit of the tree of Pastor Jesse. So this probably is going to be a series. But
About time for a war cry, though.
I guess we got time for a war. Let me put that over there because that thing. But like it really sat with me, like, and I've been watching you, my family, and my friends, and myself, and how we are going through and navigating this time. And to be honest with you, I got a little sad and a little angry. Some of y'all almost got phone calls. Some of y'all did get phone calls. Let me just be honest with you. Sorry. I'm going to apologize to you because you know exactly that I'm looking dead at you right now. I apologize. Like, I got angry and I've made some phone calls because I'm watching you go through, and God showed me in this season, He's got us. For everyone that believes in Him, He's got you. But what He is watching is how you go through. What are you doing in the midst of it? We can't give an account. Like, even the people that we brought in, for us who are moms, even the people that we brought into this world, like, we can't control y'all at a certain point. You not at that, baby girl. Your teacher is talking. You're not there yet. But for us who are parents of adult children, we can't even control them. We can't control what they do. We can't control our spouses. The only thing you can, let's just be honest, we can't control our spouses. You don't know how many times that I be sitting in the car, and I love my husband. I do. And I be sitting in the car on our way home from work, and I be like, if you just calm down. If there was an extra brake on my side, I would have wore those pads out. But you can't control, you cannot control what other people do. And God is not holding you accountable for controlling what other people do. However, He is controlling, He is marking and measuring how you control, how you react to situations. So my first oh, where's the mic? KK? Get the mic, because y'all gonna need the mic. This is interactive today. Yeah. Click on DoorDash, order some tea. Y'all be good. But, like, realistically, much like when Abraham, and we all know the story. If you don't know the story of Abraham, God telling him, take him up to the mount, take his son, his only begotten son, and sacrifice him. It wasn't the fact that he wanted to kill, that God wanted him to kill his son. He just wanted to see how he was going to react to the situation. And some of us have not been reacting well. We've been going through some things, and we have not been reacting in a way that is pleasing to God. When God told me that, I was like, oh, okay, God. He was like, now let me deal with you first. And of course, I got this first. This is why I get to share this with you. But so what we're going to do today, and what I created, what may inevitably, according to ChatGPT and a man of God of this house, this might become a book. We'll see how this goes, which I'll get to see it first. So we're gonna test this out together. What I want to do is discuss how we doing. No, like legit. How are y'all? How are y'all today? How are you today, KK? It's on.
I feel good.
You feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Great. A little excitement. You got the dance coming up later.
Yes.
Awesome. How you feeling today, Brother Wyatt?
I'm feeling great.
Great.
I'm feeling fruitful.
Awesome. I love that.
Amen.
How about you, Sis Sharice? Sorry, Evangelist.
Today I'm feeling good.
Good. Jessica, how you doing? How you doing?
I feel okay today. I'm okay.
Okay, hanging in there.
I mean, I'm a ghost, but I'm good.
Okay. The same ghost that be at the gym with us?
Mm-hmm. Same way.
Same
Complaining and
ghost.
all.
Gotcha.
No.
Janelle,
Anybody ask you?
Nicodemus, how y'all doing today? Like legit, how are you doing? Give y'all a chance to put that in there. Honey Bun. He's off duty today. He's on duty tomorrow. Jesse, how are you doing today? And keep it clean in those comments, sir. Let me be honest with you. I was a little nerve-wracked. Like this message got out of hand for me to the point, like legit, as I was typing it and then I was bouncing it off. I went in and bounced it off of ChatGPT because I have nobody else to bounce it off of at that moment. And I bounced it off of ChatGPT and it was like, oh, you're writing a book. And I was like, a book? Shenanigans. Who said that? No. I just want you to help me formulate my thoughts. So this got a little nerve-wracking. I felt the sense of, okay, God, when I said, hey, God, whatever you need me to do, he was like, great, here's some more stuff. Write a book. And I was like, no. I was just like, did you need me to pray or something? Like something light? Like, let me be honest with you. But like, so legit, like I want you to, we're going to start with this main one because this is where I started at. We're going to start with number 1. And then here's where it becomes interactive. I want y'all to pick what's the next one going to be, and we're going to discuss it. All right. Bishop-elect said he's feeling blessed. All right. All right. So going back to how do we deal with grief? So number 1 on your sheet that you have is the scripture that we're going to focus on, and then homework. Anybody who's ever been with me know that eventually, if you come to me with enough questions, you get homework. It only takes one. You get homework. That's okay. But in this season, like, I want you to be able to get this for yourself. It'll be great. And then let me be honest with you. A lot of times what we do is, in this week, because I'm included in this, we'll go to Bishop-elect and we'll be like, and this is my problem. Give me answers. And then he'll be like, what did God say? Everybody got that one? And so, like, for me, as we are really furthering our relationship, if you're going to survive this famine, at some point, you're going to have to learn how to get these answers for yourself, especially because, good to hear, Nicodemus, that you're doing good. I love that. And you're going to have to learn how to get these answers for yourself. And a lot of times, we have the answers within us. We just don't want to ask ourselves the questions. The one person that we quick to, and it's human beings, period. We quick to judge everybody else about what they doing. But when it's time to get introspective about what you got going on and who you are, this was when we will find something else to do. We gonna serve everybody, help everybody else, put everybody else life preserver on, and we are drowning. And that's a part of the problem. This is not personal. Know that. I want everybody to know this is not personal. If you feel an ouch in your spirit, I am not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. This is a collective work of us helping ourselves. That's what it is. All right. So if we go back to King Herod, after he killed John the Baptist, and the disciples went, didn't even tell Jesus that this has happened, had a whole burial for John the Baptist, and then came back and tell Jesus the news, like, oh, by the way, John is dead. We buried him. We took care of all of that. Keep on going. He didn't even have a chance to go, but wait, you didn't even tell, nobody said word, no, nobody? He didn't even get it. It wasn't even a breathing moment. And then Jesus, like much of us don't do, is he took a moment and he withdrew. He withdrew to a quiet place, showing his grief. However, then the crowds followed him. A lot of the time, we get stuck in our grief. Hey, sis. Hey. Greetings, Pastor. Little assistant, go ahead and hand him out one. But we don't navigate, like, grief is one of those things that you can't prepare for, and it don't look the same for all of us. So what ends up happening is that sometimes we push the grief down because we got stuff to do. Most importantly, a lot of times it is, oh, let me handle this for myself. Let me take care of you. Is so and so okay? Let me cook the food. Let me where the funeral at? What we wearing? What if I hear this one more time? This is gonna make me scream. What colors are we wearing? It's a whole thing. People gotta be color coordinated. It's a whole thing. Everything is going on, except you taking the time to deal with your own mental health. Jesus took the time to deal with his own mental health. Jesus did not ignore his pain. You can't ignore it. It hurts. There is no ignoring it. Pushing it down only delays it for later. And if you stack enough, if I stack up all the funerals of all the loved ones that I've lost in the past year and tried to push all of that down, it would overwhelm me. I weigh enough. I ain't lost that much weight in the gym. I weigh enough that I could hold it down, but I can't hold it down for long. So the first thing that I want you to learn is that we're going to learn from Jesus that don't ignore the pain. Don't ignore it. Don't push it down. Don't push it to the side. Deal with it. Face it. It's okay to hurt. It's okay. Take the time that you need. You need a smash room, get you a smash room. You need to crash out, crash out. But don't stay there. Deal with your pain. The next thing he did is to, it's okay to isolate yourself. Now, if you remember High Praise Ministries, you know that the rule is when you are going through something, if you go ghost for too long, Bishop-elect will call you, and then show up at your house. He'll pop up at your house. If it's me, then just know that chances are, worst case scenario, I'll break into your house. I don't even care. I know I pick a lot. I'm not concerned. We'll let the chips fall where it may. Hey. If your life is at risk, I got to do what I got to do. But yeah, so take the time, get away from the crowds. It's okay to not deal in ministry. I know. Uncomfortable conversation. It's okay not to have to deal in ministry. You have to get yourself together. The last thing you want to do is infect the people. So it's okay. Don't ignore the pain. Get some time to yourself. And the next thing that he did, which is very important, is that he kept going. How many people do you know who in the midst of their grief completely shut down from life? Like, we can't do that. You still have to do what God called you to do. We can't shut down. After all of that, when he was trying to get to his quiet place and the crowds began to follow him, he chose compassion over solitude, healing the sick and continuing his ministry. He did what he needed to do for himself, and he kept going. There's something I tell everyone who has lost a loved one. I'm like, your loved one, if they truly loved you the way that you loved them, that's the last thing they want you to do is be locked into your depression. This is exactly what the enemy comes for. He'll be like, ooh, look at that, a weak spot. Let me jump up in there. Get comfortable, make himself cozy at home, all of the things. You can't do that. If Jesus can find the strength, then so can you. Your loved ones want you to keep going. You need to keep going. You have to keep going. The minute you get locked in is the minute it's over for you. So we can't do that. This passage also highlights, the book of Matthew, chapter 14, it also highlights that there's a cost to truth. Like, keep in mind, like for John the Baptist, he had an uncomfortable word that he had to give, and eventually this cost him his life. Injustice is going to happen. People are going to walk away. You're going to have to tell somebody something, that God going to send you to go somewhere and do something, and it's not going to go good, and that's okay. It may cost you that relationship, but at least you did what God told you to do. Injustice is going to happen. Grief is going to happen. But Jesus' unwavering compassion, despite his own personal sorrow, is an example of how we should navigate this. So, what I want you to do is, for number one, there are 2 journal prompts. You ain't got to do this right now. Take this home with you. And if you are dealing with grief, number 1 says, what losses are you still carrying? Sometimes it's not about the fact that they died today or the way that they died. It's the fact that they just left you. And you still hold that. 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you still hold that. In this time where we are evaluating our own selves, I want you to ask yourself, what losses are you still carrying? Was it the miscarriage? Was it the loved one? For me, I had to dive into, I really never mourned the loss of my best friend. She's not dead, but the relationship is lost because there was an untruth and there was stuff that happened afterward. But the relationship will never be the same again. What losses are you still carrying? And after you do that, after you be honest with yourself, how can I create a space to grieve and still be open to healing and service? What does it look like that I continue to go on? What do I need in this moment? You need a spa day, get a spa day. You need some solitude and time to get in your word before, especially if you're a member of High Praise Ministry. If it's Bishop-elect, tell him I need a moment to process some things. Don't go ghost. That way the search party ain't got to come look for you. Okay? All right. So, here's the interactive part. Who's picking the next one? What are we going through?
Righteous anger.
I knew you was going to pick that one. No, she not.
Evil.
I rebuke that. Hey,
Right.
hey,
You're right.
I got the mic.
That.
I rebuke that. She's not evil. But you know what? Here's the one thing that we don't ever want to deal with. How do we deal with our anger? We all get angry. If you ain't been angry, then you a lie. Let me just be honest with you. Whether you outwardly express it or you one of those people who go internal, if you saying I have never been angry in my life, you a lie. This means that you the person that has buried the body. Your anger has resulted into a buried body. Let's just be honest.
How do we deal with anger? It's like we take our time to stay calm
Okay.
and try to be kind more. Like kindness.
Okay. So let me be honest with you.
Gentleness.
Does that always work?
Sometimes no.
Okay. So yeah, like we can counterbalance it. That's called a counterbalance. So we take the anger and we try to overwhelm the thing that made us angry with acts of nicety, if you will. Yeah. But let's see what would Jesus do? Go to Matthew chapter 21, verse 12 through 13. And I'm just going to sum this up. So, well, no, I'm going to read the scripture. Then Jesus went into the temple of God and drove out all those who bought and sold in the temple and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he said to them, "It is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." So we all know this very familiar story. This is the first time we get to see Jesus turn up, crash completely out. And if you be honest, we love that because we have moments where we want to completely crash out on people. But there's a difference in between just regular anger and what's called righteous anger. This passage right here reminds us that standing up for justice and protecting what is sacred requires courage. Jesus' anger was not reckless or harmful. It was rooted in holiness and a desire to restore reverence in the house of God. You are going to come across situations where you can't pray it away. In this season, in particularly, like God, I have heard it. It has been confirmed by more than one person that God is in a judgment season, and particularly with the house of God. We had a warning in COVID. We saw a bunch of churches closes. We saw a bunch of pastors and leaders die. And we still ain't got our stuff together. We had a situation here in High Praise Ministries. Nobody is exempt. And at this point, God's not playing about his kingdom. He's going to show you some things that legit you can't pray it away. There is a call to action. KK asked me a question one day. Is it okay if I say it? KK asked me a question one day in class. She was like, well, what do we do if we see someone coming against a member of the LGBTQIA community? I said, that's your friend. Treat them like everybody else. Fight for them. Now, KK, I do not mean go put hands on people right out of the gate. But I do mean everybody on this earth is still human that we know of. Everybody's still human. Everybody has a right to live. When you see injustice, sometimes it requires an act, not just words, not just prayer. Sometimes God is going to call you to a situation where you may need to move some furniture. As much as I be like, Jesse, would you start telling people that I have violent tendencies? I'm like, stop that. I like it to be a surprise. When it comes to me and mine, I don't play no games. When it comes to my God, I don't play no games. What we not finna keep doing is sitting here idly by and letting these things that go on that we know are not of God. And we quick to jump on, oh, homosexuality. Like that's the only thing. When you got your brothers and sisters in Christ and lying on people. Just bare bones lying on people. Out here living crazy lives. And you say that you love them, but you don't do nothing about it? No. There is a such thing as righteous anger. So what do we do with that anger? Like, how do we express that? In Matthew 21:12-13, it illustrates the righteous anger. Jesus was passionate in his response to injustice within the temple. Instead of passively accepting the corruption, he cleansed the temple, driving out the merchants who were just exploiting sacred space for profit. His actions emphasized that anger, when directed at wrongdoing. Hear me again. Anger, when directed at wrongdoing, can be justified. Yes, baby girl. Can be justified and purposeful. This passage reminds us that standing up for injustice and protecting what is sacred requires courage. And Jesus did just that. So like Jesus, I got my pages out of order. All right. So what does it look like? How do we express anger without sinning? It's about channeling the frustration in a way that aligns with wisdom, patience, and self-control. So here's ways to do that. Acknowledge you're angry. Here it is, one of those emotions that we try to stuff down. It's okay to be angry. Acknowledge the anger. Recognizing that anger is a natural emotion is the first step. The Bible says, be angry, do not sin. Ephesians 4:26. Meaning anger in itself isn't wrong, but it is how you handle it. It is quick. Like I'm one of those people speaking from experience, that God really had to deal with me about that. Because you got I used to have two phases of anger. It is the audacity phase where I'd be like, I know you didn't just do that to me. Like you didn't find something safe to do. And then typically after that, I move furniture. That's what I did. But I love you, baby girl. But like God really had to deal with me about that. He was like, hey, look, that ain't always the case. Like first time we have to acknowledge that, hey, I'm getting better at it. Am I, sis? I'm getting better? Okay. I used to that. Now I sit down and I take the time to listen. Like, okay, how did we get to this place? What's our next move? And then you have to be open to, like when you get into an altercation with someone else, if this is one of those situations where, what did he say? When you get into one of those situations where you're in it with somebody else, if they love you, then they're willing to work through it with you. We all know the situation, like there was a whole public message on it. I don't know if it's still up on YouTube. Go back and listen to it if you just want to voyeur into it. There was a situation between me and Jesse, not Bishop-elect, Falonda and Jesse. And I personally going through this and dealing with anger, it really took me some time, and it took me a couple of tries. Look, you're not going to be perfect on this right out of the gate. Give yourself some grace. God gives grace. Give yourself some grace. You may not react naturally the first time, but over the course of time, if you truly put these things into practice, understand what your triggers are and what's your next move. My typical next move was, let me be honest with you, old Falonda. You did something to anger me. You get this face. Huh? Mm-hmm. And then I get quiet. The calm before the storm. And then we move furniture. Now on this side, you get this face. And then I begin to ask questions. What made you do that? Where'd that come from? This is how I feel. Express how you feel. Nothing wrong with that. This is how I feel. And this is where we went wrong at. Typically in the situation, there's more than one of y'all. This is where we went wrong at. Be accountable for what your part in it. This is where we went wrong at. Or as the streets like to call it, this is where you had me messed up at. But acknowledging that and working through the issue. Typically now, I don't get angry over, like I've gotten to a place where I don't get angry over what I call the petty stuff. But when it comes to the stuff that offends God, that's where we have a problem at. When you start messing over God's people, when you start doing, when you hinder people from getting to, this is where we have a problem at. And typically what I'll do is you'll get a phone call from me. There's witnesses in here. And then I go, hey, typically it'll come from a stitching from God. This is what I saw. This is what we can't do. Unless you're trying to go to hell. Now let me just be honest with you. If you don't care about what happens next and you're trying to go to hell, I ain't gonna stop you. Jesus saves, Falonda doesn't. But if you really trying to walk this walk, then we need to sit down and we need to learn how to work through things. We had to work this thing out of you. But we're going to address the issue. We're not going to run from it. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to keep talking about it. And then if I love you, you will get homework. The next thing you need to do is the thing that I have learned to do is pause before reacting. Take a moment, take a breather. Reflect before responding. This prevents impulsive words and actions. Like legit, in anger, a lot of times it's easier. How many of y'all went to a restaurant and had some horrible food? Just a couple of weeks ago, I had ordered some Popeyes. The buy one, get one free chicken sandwich. And got food poisoning. Was toe up for 3 days. Now, it wasn't. I don't know what happened. They almost took your girl out. But that's not going to stop me from eating chicken. Now, will that put me back on the path to eating Popeyes? Absolutely not. Yeah, me and Popeyes need to take a pause. No, this is not my first break. The last time I had food poisoning was actually from Popeyes in Columbus, Ohio. And for y'all that are from Columbus, the one used to be on West Broad Street before you get to Georgesville. Yeah, that's the one that got me before. Huh? Who eats Church's? We won't discuss that. Who ate Church's chicken? Right, Church's chicken. Anyway. But yeah, so yeah, and then it was like a 15-year break between me and Popeyes. Like, no, and then now we back on another break. I got to pause. We can't. It more than likely will be like you. Right? No, I'm not trying to, because the next one. Right, Popeyes in the tune. But yeah, but you need to pause before you react. Like impulsive words, the minute you have a negative experience with someone, that's at that exact moment where stuff come out that you cannot take back. We say words we cannot take back. If I acted in the way I used to act, acted in the way I used to act, like we could put a Band-Aid on it if I stop. We all know what that means. But we can't take back that action. You still gonna have the scars. You still gonna have the wounds. The person that you inflict that anger on will still have the emotional scars, still have the emotional wounds, even if the physical wounds heal. These things last. So take a pause. Recognize whether or not what you're doing in that moment you can live with for the rest of your life. Not what they live with, because we don't really care if they live or not in that moment. Let's just be honest. We don't care if they live or not. But can you live with yourself after you do this thing? Take a pause. Communicate clearly and calmly. Express your feelings without attacking others. Use I statements like, I feel frustrated when, instead of just blaming. We are quick to. Lesson I had to learn. We are quick to. And you did this, and you ain't, and this, that, 4-letter words, 5-letter words, creative combinations. Right, words don't even match. Instead of saying, getting to the point of, I'm hurt because of this. Like taking that time to express yourself in the moment. And sometimes you need that break before you can express yourself. This is why I be like, hey, look, if I get quiet, if I leave the room, don't follow me. Don't follow me. This is not going to go good. This won't be healthy for anyone. This will be that Popeye's chicken sandwich. Unhealthy. Seek resolution, not revenge. This was a tough one for me. I am the queen of get back. I used to have this statement before I went into every relationship. I'm like, hey, just so you know, like, infidelity is not a deal breaker for me. But just know, if you're cheating, we're cheating. Just so you know, before we even begin this process, before we get into this relationship, if you're cheating, we're cheating. And I have done some things that I am definitely not proud of. And I've had to apologize to some people, or at least to God, and repent. Some people didn't make it to the apology part. But yeah. You up in my best friend's DMs, I am on your father's lap. That's how bad it used to be. Don't do that, KK. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's the old me. God has changed me. Address the issue constructively rather than holding on to resentment. Forgiveness does not mean ignoring what the wrongdoing was, but it frees you up from bitterness. Acknowledgement is not acceptance. Forgiveness is not acceptance. It is acknowledging what was done wrong. We disappoint God on a regular basis. There are no without sin. He's already left this earth. You have to forgive, not for them, but for yourself, because bitterness will kill you. So acknowledge what was done, and then be prepared to do the next one. Channel your anger into a positive action. If your anger stems from injustice, use it to advocate for change rather than lashing out. I acknowledge that, look, I don't sugarcoat the word in my class. Homosexuality is a sin. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. It is. It is what it is. At the same time, what you're not finna do is get up in somebody's face that I care about and disrespect them. We gonna have problems. You might end up on the end of move furniture. We don't do that. I have been with too many people who have worked their way through their sin and their indiscretion. We've all sinned. There have been people who have stood by me, and I thank God that they did. that they stood by me while I worked through my process of repentance. If it had not been for those people, I don't know where I would be. So we forgive. It doesn't mean you forget. It's okay. You don't forget. There is no such thing as emotional amnesia. But you learn how to work through it. And that's what God helps you do. You get the same grace that you give to other people. Now, in the case of, let's go back to my former best friend. In the case of that, does that mean that you restored them back to the position they once were? No. We'll never be what we used to be. We used to be two peas in a pod. Like legit, like you couldn't see one of us without seeing the other. Her husband at one point thought we were in a relationship. Like in and out of friendship. Like you saw one of us, you saw the other. Will we ever get that back? No. Can I be in the same space with her without feeling those feelings of anger and wanting to move furniture? Yes. Yes. And I did not do that for her. I did that for me. Because the bitterness of a situation will kill you. God said, okay, I'm severing that relationship. And then here's the crazy thing about that. So I was like, oh no, God, but there used to always be three of us. What do we do? Not that the two of us can't be best friends, because there are two of us still remaining. And I'd rather die for her. But then he was like, he gave me another sister. I was like, oh, cool beans. He was like, and this one is going to take up where the other one left off at. That same best friend that I had the issue with was the same person who took me to church and I got saved at her uncle's church. She introduced me to Christ. So I'm eternally appreciative to her. If it had not been for her, I would not be standing before you today. I got saved at her church. I got baptized at her uncle's church. I appreciate her. And the reality of it is, that was a season in my life that needed to end. That's really what it was. That whole situation was just a season that needed to end. So God could put the person in her place that needed to be there. So you don't know what God is doing. And we don't know what God is doing because you ain't did what? You ain't asked him. You ain't asked him. In the midst of all of your anger, God, where did this come from? And sometimes that's a unpleasant conversation. I had to have that conversation with God myself. God, where did this come from in my marriage? I ain't signed up for this foolishness. This is not what I signed up for. And then he was like, okay. I could have not told you. I'm like, you're right. Holy Spirit could have not told me. I'm still angry. Still want to move furniture, want to do things. And he was like, but can we talk about you? What? I did nothing wrong yet. I was honest. I did nothing wrong yet. And he was like, this, but the way you react, this comes from a long line of trauma. Long story short, process of conversations with God, an unwanted vacation, and a therapist. God showed me, he was like, this is some stuff that you've been dealing with for years. I'm sorry, this is some stuff you ain't been dealing with for years. The way that you react towards men, that's a trauma response. I was like, what? He was like, and you did. And I was sitting up there like, what? Okay, you're right. But it's a trauma response? He like, yeah, my therapist. I was like, so is this a trauma response? She was like, absolutely. Censor it for the little children in the room, except for KK. She old enough to understand, and she's been in my class long enough. Hypersexualization is a trauma response. When my therapist told me that, I was like, what? I was like, no, because I just need to get this out of my system. And she was like, instead of dealing with the problem. And I was like, oh, you got me. Oh, you got me. I see what you're saying there. Oh, can't argue with this one. So, get the help that you need. Talk it out. Find your people. God has people in place who are willing to help you work through some things. Find your people. God will show you. If you sit down and long enough, after you get done cussing him out, because some of us do that, after you get done cussing him out about the situation, ask him what's next. What's next? What do I do next? And what he'll do is he'll begin to organize and craft situations where the thing gets handled. Or he'll remove the thing. Either or. But it gets handled. And now you're not left with blood on your hands. You're not left with the bitterness. You're not left with all the regret. You don't miss out on God's blessing because you wouldn't face the situation. He'll do it. And at some point, the next thing you need to do is let go of the prolonged anger. That one hit me the deepest. Oh, I can hold a grudge. Oh, I'm so good at that. And God told me, he was like, look, if you're going to move forward, then you got to let some things go. You got to let it go. You ain't got no time machine. Literally, this is what I heard. You ain't got no time machine. You can't go back and change it. What you going to do about it? I was like, you got a point. I love logic. Me and God have conversations about logical things. He's like, you ain't got a time machine. You can't go back and change it. Now what you going to do? I was like, you got a point. All right. I ain't going to forget. But I do have to keep moving forward. Because what I did, Falonda, don't answer for yourselves in this. What I did would have sent me to hell. If I'd have held on to that, it'll stop me from being a blessing to others. It'll ruin my whole entire household. Not just my household, but it had a negative, like my holding on to anger had a negative effect on my child. And that hit me the most. I was like, I'm sowing seeds that I don't want to. So you have to acknowledge it. Pause. You and God come up with a solution for what's next. Communicate clearly with the person you have beef with. Seek a resolution, not revenge. No baseball bats involved. It's hard. I saw you, KK. You like, oh man, not one baseball bat, not one baseball bat. Redirect your anger, and then learn how to let go. By following these principles, the anger you expressed in this way honors God and strengthens your relationship. When God revealed to me that he exposed certain things to me, not so I could get angry and move furniture, but something could be uprooted and removed out of his way, I was like, oh, there was purpose for that. There was purpose for the exposure. And we're better because of it. Everything that I touch is now better because of it, because I walked through the process. So in your journal exercise, if we are dealing with some anger, first, is it righteous anger or are you just angry? And then what are you angry at? What situations stir up righteous anger in me? What are your triggers? And how can I channel that energy into godly action? All right, someone pick the next one.
Anxiety and distress.
Anxiety and distress. Go to Matthew chapter 26. I'm sorry. Before we go there, let me answer a question. So the difference in between righteous anger is anger towards injustice. Like something, we all bare bones basics know right from wrong, right? There is righteous anger is injustice against the things of God's kingdom. So when I say righteous and justice, this means when we decide that because of the color of somebody's skin, that they're less than us, and we act on it. That's for the Karens and the Kens. Righteous anger. You don't stand idly by and let somebody degrade someone just because. Like they treat God's creation less than what it is. We don't do that. When you see sin, now does that mean go in there and somebody's into some homosexual couple's house and to put hands on them? Absolutely not. Does not mean that. That is not righteous anger. However, if you see somebody talking to some 13-year-old and they are over the age of 18, righteous anger. What we don't do is we don't touch the children. We don't touch the children. We don't touch the disabled. We don't touch the babies in Christ. We don't sit up there. We don't discourage them. We don't lie on them. We don't do any of the things. If it's God's no, then that's where the righteous anger is coming in at. Now, just anger is about anything. I'm angry at Popeyes. That scissor sandwich was delicious. Those 3 days of food poisoning, a nightmare. Now, if I were to go and burn down Popeyes right now because of that sandwich, unrighteous anger. It was a sandwich. I lived. Huh? You got a good lawyer? Yeah, I could sue. But that's doing it the right way. Burning down that Popeyes is committing arson. Yeah, I could sue. The righteous reaction would be to sue. The unrighteous part would be to go burn the place down. Right. That be angry but sin not. It's the stuff that we don't deal with in ourselves. I'm angry because I saw this a whole long time ago, and so now I don't want to use that example. Here goes. Moment of transparency. Right after I had our daughter, before he came into the picture, at 4 months pregnant, my baby daddy decided he wanted to end the relationship. This isn't working out for me. I'm going to end this relationship. I was like, you're going to take care of this kid. And see, and this is why I hate you men. Y'all get on my nerves. You know what? I'm through with men. And then a woman got interested in me and I pursued her. She pursued me, I pursued her. Did I like it? It was cool. Would I do it again? No. And all of my anger at him leaving me a single parent, I was like, I'm gonna be done with men. All men ain't no good. But that man's a problem. And ladies, if y'all want to know his, I'm just joking. That man is a problem. All men are not a problem. All men don't deserve that. All men are not cheaters. All men do not abandon their children. That man's a problem. But silly. We will not Seth Rollins Popeyes. But yeah, so the difference in between is it's understanding like what you're anger against. Like it's the small things, the stuff that if it didn't kill you, get over it. If it offends God's kingdom and the people won't stop, move furniture. I like that part of Jesus. The move furniture part of Jesus. I'm sorry. Whatever it take. When it comes, we're coming into a season where you're going to start to see more and more of this. Like, God showed me some things and I was like, that's real messed up. It's real messed up because we got people inside of the house hurting the people in the house. And it's going to come a time where you ain't got no choice, but you got to say something. If not you, then who? And certain situations God is only going to expose to you because you're the one that has to say something about it. That's where it comes in. And sometimes, in the words of my father-in-law who is in heaven, if you can't hear, you can feel. Ugh. And I just want to convey a word that I heard from another prophetess. She was like, in this season, God's judgment for the house of God is you're going to find a bunch of these leaders, like he going to hit them where it hurts. If you in this pulpit and you are morally corrupt, he going to hit you where it hurt. So think it not strange when your pockets get drained. Because we are more lovers of money than we are lovers of men. So, yeah, it's gonna happen. And sometimes it takes one of us to stand up and be bold for God like that. Now, is that the assignment of everybody? Absolutely not. There are some people who are just... Jesse showed me a video a few months ago where this guy went up in this church and confronted this pastor because he made this young girl get up and confess that she was pregnant before the church. That ain't none of your business. He wasn't even a member of that church. That ain't none of your business. You sitting up in there looking stupid. You don't know what the conversation between that mother, that child, and that pastor was. And in a few months, everybody was going to know anyway. But for you to go up in there and disrupt somebody's church that you're not a member of, you out of pocket. And God don't do things that are decently and out of order. I'm sorry, he does things decently in order. He is not in confusion. He is not in your mess. Keep that stuff at your house. But yeah, there's a difference in it. You angry about it? You don't like that pastor said that? Don't follow him. Turn the stream off. You don't like it? You ain't got to be here. But when God does send you to do a thing, do it. And do it expeditiously. And do it exactly the way he told you to do it. Don't steer from the plan. All right. Back to anxiety and depression. Matthew 26. I hope I answered the question. Matthew 26, verse 36 through 39. It says, then Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane. I probably butchered that. I always do. And said to the disciples, sit here while I go and pray over there. He took with him Peter and 2 sons of Zebedee. And he began to be sorrowful, deeply distressed. Then he said to them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me. He went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, his experience mirrors our own struggles with anxiety and distress. As he faced the weight of his coming suffering, he felt overwhelmed, expressing, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. And in that moment, he didn't suppress his emotions. He acknowledged them. He sought support from his closest friends and turned to prayer. Like Jesus, when anxiety grips us, we may feel isolated, burdened, and desperate for relief. Yet his response shows us a path forward. He was honest about his pain. Instead of pretending everything was fine, he asked his friends to stay near, even though they struggled to support him. He surrendered his fears to God, choosing trust over panic. This passage reminds us that struggling with anxiety doesn't mean that we lack faith. Jesus himself felt distressed. He found strength in surrendering to God's plan instead of letting the fear take over. He placed his future in God's hand and pressed forward. Anxiety is very common for us. And I want us older people to acknowledge that it's not just us. It's not the bill payers. It's also our children. Anxiety and depression, the spirit is running rampant in our community. We can no longer negate what is going on. We have to acknowledge it and learn how to work through it. Find our coping skills. The first thing you need to do is you got to be honest about it. God knows. There's nothing he don't know. If we can believe that he formed us, he knew us before we were formed in our mother's womb, he also know that all these things were going to happen. He already has a plan in place to help you get through it. So there's no sense of just completely crashing out when you can go back to the person who wrote the story and ask them to turn the page, to tell you what's next. What am I doing next? It's when we sit up here and act like we're not going through these things. That's when it becomes a problem. Anxiety happens. This season of famine, so much anxiety. The artist Doshi has a song that is about anxiety. She literally has a video where she is dealing with all of the phobias. All the fears, the phobias, all of the things. And it's commonplace. But once again, it's not the thing that you're going through. It's how you react to it. It's how you react to it. Are you acknowledging that you're in distress? There's nothing wrong with it. Now, you ain't got to walk around all the time. Oh my God, my problems, my sorrows. Oh, woe is me. Some people just do that for attention. But find our circles are what they are in the season they are for a reason. Find your people. Hey, I'm stressed out. I got this going on. And God will send the right people. Everybody ain't going to be able to help you. This is why you can't tell your business to everybody. Let me be honest with you. You can't tell your business to everybody because everybody ain't there to help you. Some people are there for the fire. But God He has created people and put you in a circle where there are people who are there to assist you through it. There is support. Now, yes, did Jesus' support fall asleep? Yes, they did. But he already knew this was going to happen. But they still showed up. The right people will show up when you need them. I am one of I said this to one of our members recently. I am the type of person, I'm not always there. Am I calling you on the phone all the time? Absolutely not. I don't like talking on the phone. Text me. But when you need me, I show up. I'm like Nanny McPhee in that, right? When you need me, I show up and I stay. And then when you don't need me no more, I go away. God has those kind of people for you. Think it not strange if I call or text you out of the blue. I have a friend of mine who I've known since high school. He was my first high school crush. And all of a sudden one day I saw a post on Facebook and it prompted me to just message him. And lightweight, I did not want to because that sounds kind of creepy. But I kept feeling the need to do it. And I did it and we talked, and it's because God sent me to him. He literally had a word that I gave him that ended up being a word for High Praise Ministry. The reset, realign, restart, the reset started because God sent me over there. God gonna put the right people in place. He gonna send your support gonna be there. But first, you have to say, hey, I'm falling down, I need help. Like Moses was when they were holding his arms up. Moses, I probably just butchered. It was Moses. Okay. Yeah, when they were, look, the right people will know that you need help when you need it. They gonna lift you up. And they gonna be there. But you have to trust God with the situation. And this means also surrendering this to him. Give him the situation. We think that we can hide stuff from God. That is the craziest thing in the world. He is omnipotent, all-knowing, the beginning and the end of our story. What did you think he was hiding from him? Like, that don't even make sense. It is like being in a house with a black mama or black grandma from back in the day. They could literally see around corners. It was crazy the stuff that they knew that we thought we got away with. God is bigger than that. He already knows. He can't move until you bring him into the situation. God is like me. He don't just show up just to be showing up. He ain't nosy like that. He saw it. I saw it. I saw you do the thing. I saw everything that happened afterwards. Oh, you need my help? Oh, here I come. That's God. Cast all your cares upon him. So your journal exercise for that one. And just know that there is. What fears and pressures do I need to bring to God without holding back? Emphasis on the without holding back. There are no secrets between you and God. He created you. Don't hold back. Who can I ask to pray with me, even if they don't always show up perfectly? Ask God. Who's my support system in this season? Everybody can't handle every situation. Let God show you who, what, where, when, why. Who is the person? Who is the person I could take this to? And he might surprise you. Like, in one of my situations, I was real surprised because I was like, I'm not going to take that to her. First and foremost, that's rude. Taking people your problems. And I don't do that. I'm here for everybody else. And God was like, just talk to her. I got this. And she confirmed, oh yeah, I know everything. I got this. Here, let me walk you through it. Oh, you slipping. I got you. I got you. I got you. I saw you again. Pull it together. God has orchestrated this whole thing. He knew it was going to happen. We don't trip God up at no point. We disappoint him. He'd be like, now you know, I saw you going towards that thing, and I also then saw you walk right through that door, and I had told you not to do it. All right, now, this is your exit strategy. Most of the time, we get pre-warning before we end up in shenanigans. And we just be happy like, I'm going to see for myself. And we wasting time doing that. Just see God. God, who going to help me through this situation? Who you got lined up for me? Where's my support system? Do that. Because you're going to go through some things. Like, this is inevitable. I wish I could tell you, like, everything will be all, sunshine, roses, ponytails, ponies, the whole 9 yards. It's not. It's not. It's the reality of it. We got to deal with stuff. And this is why we're learning how to deal through things appropriately. All right. Now, I said I was taking this back to old school High Praise Ministries. So, we got one more. And the rest of this will probably be another lesson. Who? KK? Rejection. All right. Number 3, rejection. Patience. You know what? Just for you and for your bishop-elect, I'm going to do patience after rejection. And then we out of here. Matthew chapter 13, verse 57. A prophet is not without honor except in his own country and in his own house. So, go back to verse 53. If you go back to verse 53, start there. It says, now it came to pass, when Jesus had finished these parables, that he departed from there. And when he had come to his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, where did this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? Is this not the carpenter's son? He's so silly. Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas, and his sisters, are they not all with us? Where then did this man get all these things? So they were offended at him. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own country and in his own house. Now he did not do many mighty works there because of their unbelief. So they were offended at him, and Jesus said to them what he said. And Jesus faced rejection in his own hometown of Nazareth, where people struggled to accept him as more than just a carpenter's son. Instead of being discouraged, he acknowledged the reality that familiarity can breed skepticism. Often, those closest to us fail to recognize our growth or our calling. His response teaches us that rejection does not define our worth. Like Jesus, we can move forward with purpose, trusting that our value is not determined by others' opinions. Faithfulness to our mission matters more than approval. We live in a time that we need to be we care so much about what other people think that we negate what we are purposed to do. I listen to Jesse and I listen to other pastors talk about like how other pastors and stuff be bragging about how many churches and how many members and all of the things, and I did this and I got that, and then like I'm sitting up here like, and your point is like those like be the most frivolous conversations I ever heard. Like, you saying all of these things for what? As long as at the end of the day you are doing what God called you to do, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that all the numbers are out the door and they got 3 services that wrap around 2819 church. If God's will ain't being done, like we live in a society today, like, and I blame us, not so much social media as much as we like to think it is, that we do stuff to try to impress one another when it's completely pointless. Like, you ain't got to, in the words of Day, you ain't got to lie, Craig. You taking your time to fashion a lie to be impressive over what? Because you fear rejection. When man's approval ain't what you here for. We do that all the time. I used to think, and this is Falonda, I grew up in a day, back in the day, I'm old enough, where if you wasn't light-skinned, you wasn't pretty. My best friend Karen looks biracial. She's like multiracial technically. But she looks biracial. And people are like, oh my God. Sorry. She's the prettiest thing I ever seen. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I looked at her. Let me be honest with you. Before we became friends, when I first met her, I was like, oh my God, she's so pretty. That's what everybody say you're supposed to look like. She's so pretty. I hate her. She's the exact opposite of me. For those who know, and you're about to see her picture across my Facebook this week because her birthday coming up. She's the exact opposite of me. She's like this tall, light skin, and at that time she's like this big. All this long black hair down her back. It ain't been black in years. And just the sweetest little thing. And I was like, ooh, she's the exact opposite of me. I hate her. She's going to hate me because I don't look like her. And when I tell you this is my ride or die, like, I was like, ooh, I want to hate you so bad, but I just love you. I do anything for you. Like, getting to know her beyond the surface is like, I just love her. She's so amazing. She's so supportive. Like, she's so many talents, and it's beyond the physical appearance. Like, there's so much depth to her that people don't get to see. Like, and I would have missed out on all of that. I'd have been just like Nazareth. I'd have missed out on all the blessings because I couldn't get past the surface. So yeah, you're going to face rejection. I can't tell you how many people in my family act weird when I come around. Because they were like, oh, because you like a preacher or whatever now. So I can't cuss. I need to act a certain way because you're like a preacher. And I'm like, stop that. You being weird. Don't do that. Stop being weird. I'm still Falonda. Now, here's the part of Falonda that most of them find out when they least expect it. Like, I'm still just Falonda, but Falonda is the person who will come for you when it comes to God's business. I have had to correct family members that did not see it coming. I was like, oh, you invited me into a messy situation. Here comes God. I've had to give a word where they wasn't expecting it, and they did not like it. And I still did it anyway, and I don't care. I was like, if it's me or you, if it's between me and you and God, it's going to be you. You getting it all the time, every day, 2 times on Sunday. I'm not finna fight him. My arm's too short. I got a short torso. I'm not really that tall. I'm not fighting him over your foolishness. You going to get this. But you going to experience that. I can't tell you how many times since I've been saved that people were like, oh, especially right after I got saved, oh, you're supposed to act a certain way. Why is your skirt short? Because it's in my closet, because I bought it. At that time, I had nice legs. Why wouldn't I wear the skirt? That don't change me. It doesn't determine who I am. It's a skirt. But it'd be, how many times we got to say it? It be your own people. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, it be your own people. But what you have to do is you got to shake the dust off. You got to still keep going. Whatever God say doing, that's what we doing. Oh. Like this is what we doing in this season. Thank you. So rejection gonna come. It happened to Jesus. It's gonna happen to you. There's no sense of lying about stuff unnecessarily to make yourself look puffed up and bigger and badder or more prestigious than what you are. Just be you. God called you. He specifically wanted and called the person that he fashioned. You ain't got to do all of that. I hate it when I hear people tell me unnecessary lies. Oh, because I was going to do it. No, you wasn't. You ain't got to lie, Craig. Don't do that. Because I'm still going to love you regardless. I'm going to love you whether or not your church got 5 members or 5,000 members. If you teaching the word of God, oh, I'm on board. If you trying to turn your life around, I'm not finna hold it over your head if you slip up. I'm not finna condemn you. Oh, that's it. Your salvation is over with. We don't do that to people. You had a moment. All right, let's acknowledge it. Repent and don't do that stupid stuff again. Rejection gonna come. It happened to him, it's gonna happen to you. So what do we do with that? Let's acknowledge it. Where have I experienced rejection and it still stings? Because once again, rejection, one of those emotions that we press down. One man rejected me and I threw all men under the bus. I almost went over there. And she was cute or whatever. She's cool people. Good to me. She was good to me. But I was like, I miss them. They trash, but I miss them. And if I had did that, if I went over there, then I'd have missed out on Jesse. And I wouldn't be here today. So yeah, just because you get rejected, pick yourself back up. Dust it off. Acknowledge that you were hurt. I had a guy tell me one time, he was like, I like your personality, but you're a little on the heavy side. I was like, oh, this cushion, I'm sorry. You gonna miss out, my boy. You gonna miss out. And then I had lost a whole bunch of weight. And he saw me. He was like, so you want to go out and get some dinner or something? I was like, ooh, nope, still on the heavy side, sir. You missed out. Your rejection ain't stopped nothing. And to this day, I'm still married 15 years. So I ain't miss out on nothing. How can I stay faithful to my purpose in spite of it? This is where it gets difficult. When it be your own people rejecting you and God still has you an assignment in that arena. What does that look like? What do you do with that? You like, God, they don't want it. And do it anyway. I imagine that Bishop-elect deals with this on a regular basis. He give you a word. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm a part of the problem. I'm a part of the problem. Let me just go ahead and own that. Let's be transparent today. I'm part of the problem. He just told me. He was like, yeah, write the book. And I was like, I agree with ChatGPT. That sounds like a book. Write the book. And I was like, I don't know who you're talking to. I ain't got time to write a book because I'm still trying to do other things. We do it all the time. We reject the people that care about us, and he needs to get off this live. We reject the people who are genuinely looking out for our best interests, and yet we still have a work to do. I love my husband. He hurt me deeply. And when God told me, you still got to be at that church, I was like, it ain't my way, my boy. It ain't no way. I don't know I'm gonna do that. I don't know do it. He was like, okay, so if you can't do it because I just told you so, then do it for them. And he began to show me faces. He was like, your stick-to-itness, in spite of the rejection, in spite of the pain, in spite of the hurt, I still require it. And I was like, all right, I'll be here. I'll be here. And then he made the situation better. You gotta stick to the plan. We get caught up in our feelings and our emotions. You're not in danger today, Mike. We get caught up in our feelings and our emotions, and we forgot that there's still a plan and a progress and a life still left to be lived. Dust your feet off. Look, I tell people all the time, I was like, look, you can not like what I said, but I don't care. Because I don't. I'm dropping off the message. I ain't got time to be playing with you. It's either you, your feelings, or him. I'm not arguing with God. And if you don't like me, you stop talking to me. Oh, well. As long as he don't stop talking to me. The moment he stopped talking to me, we got a problem. You stop talking to me, you'll be all right. Oh, you want a Kleenex? You'll be all right. I still got to move forward. I still got to keep pressing. I done came way too far. Many of you have came way too far from where you used to be. To quit now. To fall short because you got caught up in feelings and emotions. You done came too far. For some of us, you got this much left to go. And you don't even know it. You got this much left to go. Why would you mess up now? You done gave up all of this life back here, and you got this much left to go, and you going to get caught up in your feelings and mess up with God? You wasted your time. And God going to pass it off to somebody else. Don't think that you're not replaceable. But, yeah, it's going to happen. Find out what your triggers. Once you acknowledge what your triggers are, it's really hard for people to trigger you. Once I acknowledged that people were like, your complexion is a problem, and I felt that deeply, it stopped being a problem for me. I'm so cute with my chocolate self. I'm cute with all my gray hair and my extra weight. I don't care. I look good. It don't even matter to me. I don't care about you. Once you acknowledge what the triggers are and why it triggers you, it no longer becomes a trigger. It's no longer an issue. You got to be, this is that internal deep dive. You got to dive into it. All right, one last one. Patience. Matthew, go to Matthew. We're going to start at chapter 17, verse 17. Because if you would think it would be anybody who would have issues with patience, especially because he know how the story was going to end, because Jesus was just as much God as he was man, it should have been him. Like, but it wasn't. It says, verse 17 says, even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. And that comes from, and we all know the story. We could go back, you could read the scripture. Jesus came upon a fig tree. The fig tree was out there looking all good and stuff, like it was going to produce some fruit. He was hungry. He was ready to eat. Ain't had no fruit. He cursed it. How many of us do that? We come across somebody and they look like they producing some fruit. They got good stuff going on. And then they disappoint you. And you don't stick around long enough. Remember I told you about the old friend that God sent me into his DMs to give him a word? At one point, we were in a relationship. And that relationship did not produce fruit like I would have liked it to. So I ghosted him. I was young. I was petty. Still petty, just not young, more mature now. I didn't give that man a chance. I didn't. I was like, woo, ghost, 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 ghost. I was Jessica. I immediately left the scene. I didn't give that thing a chance to see what was to come to pass. He ended up being a pastor. And I ended up marrying a pastor. I was like, God. Right, I was like, God. Was it really him that I was running from? Was I trying to run from this? Because pastors are scary. And ran from that one and ran right into another one. Been here for almost 15 years. That's crazy. Yes, I know I'm with the right pastor. I get it. You know who said that. Right. Like in that script, he is. This is why we can't give him time. In that scripture, it shows that Jesus was expressing disappointment at the lack of faith around him. I'm sorry. Nope, that wasn't the one I wanted. Okay. Like Jesus was just disappointed. He was like, look, you look like you're supposed to do some things and then you didn't. So now you will never do anything else again. That's what you get for looking like something that you're not. Oh, that's a word in itself. You gotta stop looking like something that you're not. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. Go down to Matthew 26, verse 50 through 56. It says, but Jesus said to him, friend, why have you come? Then they came and laid hands on Jesus and took him. And suddenly, now this is me and KK's favorite part. This Jesus and Judas. And suddenly, one of those who were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword, struck the servant of the high priest, and cut off his ear. This Peter. We already knew this was going to happen. And here you go, overreacting, getting all in your feelings. But Jesus said to him, put your sword in its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Or do you think that I cannot pray to my Father, and he will provide me with the must happen thus? In that hour, Jesus said to the multitudes, have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to take me? I sat daily with you, teaching in the temple, and you did not seize me, but all of this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all of the disciples forsook him and fled. These passages highlight Jesus' patience in the face of frustration, betrayal, and misunderstanding. Matthew 26 verses 50 to 56 captures the moment of his betrayal and arrest. Even when disciples reacted violently, Jesus remained calm, reminding them that God's plan must unfold. He chooses grace over retaliation, trusting in divine timing. Together, these verses teach us that patience is not passive. It is an intentional choice to respond with wisdom, grace, trust, and God's plan. Even when faced with betrayal, frustration, Jesus models self-control and faith. Practicing patience in trying times means choosing grace over frustration and trusting God's timing when things feel overwhelming. How many times this week alone have you not exercised patience? Don't answer out loud. We don't want nobody to embarrass themselves. In the midst of all of his frustration at this moment, like Judas done walked with him. He done came up to him, brought these men here, kissed him, took this money, betrayed him, ran off, all of the things. His boys, we got your back, Jesus. Ain't nothing about to happen to you. How many of us have had that crowd around us? We got your back. Stuff go down, they gone. They all identify as, you be like, hello, ghost? Casper, all of them. And yet, you threw the whole lot away. Yeah. What if Jesus had reacted like we would have reacted? So, these people, call myself, these people came for Jesus as he knew they would. His boys who said, I will be by your side. Ghosts. You don't think he sent the word and raised somebody from the dead? You don't think he could have sent the word and took all of them out? How many of us would have? Let's be honest internally. Don't say it out loud. This is why I'm not Jesus. But we don't practice patience. We don't give grace in the situation. Once again, he ain't gonna like this. And I can't see. We good? Okay. When you? Okay. So, I love him. It's coming back through now. Okay. All right. So, how many times I'm sitting there in the car with him and I'm like, honey, this is the same traffic every day. Let me just be honest with you. I'm like, babe, same traffic every day. This Atlanta ain't nothing but traffic and pollen. This is what we got here. Traffic and pollen and bad macaroni and cheese. We ain't gonna discuss that. Right. I mean, this is all we got here. I'm like, it. I understand that this is frustrating for you, but slamming on your brakes, flicking lights, all of the tension and emotion that I feel. I know he probably saying all kinds of stuff about me right now. Like, babe, we still gonna get to the house at the same time. We can't stop this traffic. I knew it. I knew he was gonna say that. At the same time, they don't. They used to buy it don't always work. And plus, some of these
He
people
said
ain't got
that
insurance,
move.
so they're going to hit you and leave you on the side of the road. Let me just be honest with you. This Atlanta. But we you may be in a season where, like, in all of your frustration, that this is purposeful. This pause is purposeful. This slowdown is purposeful. I forgot where we was coming from one night, and we were leaving, and we were supposed to have already been home, but we had to drop somebody else off. It was a whole thing. If we'd have left like 5 minutes earlier, we'd have been in the middle of where a semi-truck was overturned on a car on the highway. That delay was purposeful, of us not being where we supposed to be at the time we had planned on it. So here are some ways to cultivate some patience based off of Jesus' example. What would Jesus do? Pause and pray. I know it's a little hard to do when I am in the middle of unleashing my 4-letter, 5-letter, and perfect combinations. But you need to stop. I used to, every time we almost get into a situation, one of my favorite words, the F word would come out of my mouth. I've gotten to a place where I'm like, okay, whew, thank you, Jesus, because it didn't happen. Jesus is the first word out of my mouth. These people drive crazy down here. You hear Jesus a lot. He probably tired of hearing from me. He be like, stop calling my name. When frustration arises, take a moment, pray instead of reacting impulsively. It's the impulsivity that gets in trouble. As much as I enjoy moving furniture, it was the impulsiveness of it that causes all of the effects afterward. Thank God I have never been arrested. And thank you, God, for putting police officers who were my friends who made sure that I did not get arrested. Look, he knew he needed to preserve me for a moment such as this. So when the frustrations arise, don't act impulsively. Stop. Pray. Jesus often withdrew to pray, showing that patience is strengthened through the connection with God. I know it needed to have been done yesterday, but maybe there's a reason that it's getting done in this season. Maybe that's why the business ain't came to pass yet, because it's supposed to be done in a certain season. Maybe it's a reason why you ain't met your husband or your wife. Maybe it's because that person is going through preparation. It is so odd that me and Jesse, once we got together and started talking and get to know each other, we worked in some of the same jobs. We were in the same places, and we had never met. We didn't meet until it was time for us to meet. When I had finally decided, I might settle down now. Okay, God, I'm going to let you handle it. I already told you what I want. I'm going to let you handle it. Next thing you know, this guy's in my Black Planet message box. Talking about some you messaged me. No, I didn't. I don't even know you. Right. But it takes patience. Yeah. I done kissed a whole bunch of frogs, dogs, snakes. But God was preparing me. He was working some things out of me. If I had been who I was years ago, I'd be a serial killer. Let me just be honest with you. Anyway. Look, your patience, your connection with God is strengthened by exercising your patience and not being impulsive. Next thing you... Stop it. The next thing you need to do is shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on the delays and difficulties, ask, what is God teaching me in this season? When the last time in your frustration, you've asked God, what you trying to teach me in this season? When I finally realized that I could just do that, as simple as that conversation is, God was like, oh, because this is what I'm doing. I was like, oh, and this is why this happened. And then he began what could have been interpreted as an over explanation. I was like, I asked you about one thing and you just ran down the whole list, and you ain't even had to bring that back up because I had already did that, and I told you I was sorry and I wasn't going to do that no more. But yeah, just learning to ask God, what are you teaching me in this season? Patience grows when you see challenges as opportunities for spiritual growth. Sometimes the delay ain't just to stop you from doing something. The delay is to prepare you for the season. But it takes you having to be spiritually mature to see that. Respond with grace, not anger. Jesus remained calm, even when misunderstood and betrayed. Practicing patience means choosing kindness and wisdom over frustration. Kindness and wisdom will get you answers. Frustrations will get a chair upside somebody's head. Let's be honest. Maybe it's just me. I'm the only one to move furniture. That's fine. Okay. Trust in God's timing. Jesus knew that everything had to unfold according to God's plan. Isn't that crazy? They came up with this plan in the beginning before any of us were ever here. They knew that this thing had to come to pass. And even Jesus had to trust in God's timing. He knew exactly what was about to go down. He knew how it was going to unfold. And he still had to respond accordingly. When things don't happen quickly as you like, remind yourself, God is working behind the scenes. God is working that thing out. When you come to these things and your frustration and it seems like why did this just ain't moving? Ask God, what are you doing? Hey, excuse me. What are you doing? What you putting in that? He'll answer you. Practice self-control. Oh, self-control. KK, how we doing? Okay. Patience isn't passive. It's an active choice to stay ready and trust rather than to react out of fear and frustration. Self-control. So yeah, as much as I had a history of enjoying moving furniture, I had to practice self-control so that God could sit me down long enough to explain the big picture to me. In your journal time, the question I want you to ask, if you're dealing with issues with patience, where am I feeling impatient? With people, outcomes, or even God? Where are you feeling impatient at? Number 2, how can I model Jesus' steady trust when things don't move at my pace? And last, what would it look like to wait with grace instead of with frustration? For me, that was a difficult one, but I had to think about it. And God was like, well, like you could wait you could wait until I work these things out and make the whole thing come together, or you can go to jail. And I was like, I will take waiting for 600 Alex, because I'm too cute to be in jail. Like, I probably could style a whole prison uniform. I probably could still do my work in there. But at the same time, I'm too cute. And people smell. And I don't like smells. Can't do it. I'm not built for jail. So, as we begin to, because there's more. And you'll see me again. As much as I didn't want to be up here. We'll see me again up here. And I don't think Bishop Elect, he already told me, oh, you could take as many services as you like. I don't want to. This is what I need you to do. Take this seriously. Look at this sheet. Skip ahead. Some of y'all may not be in any of the other services. Take the sheet. Skip ahead. Do the journal exercises. Have these conversations with God. There's no question he ain't going to answer for you. Do the journal exercises. If you need a notebook, I had passed out notebooks. You need a pen. Take the time. Sit down with yourself and God. Ask the questions. When you run into issues, some of you will run into issues. If you need me, Nanny McPhee, call me. Or preface it with a text message to say, hey, can I talk to you about this? And I'll be sure. Let's sit down and come up with some solutions. Me, you, and God. Let's come up with solutions. And in the meantime, I have a little prayer for you. Down there says daily affirmations for walking with Jesus in my everyday life. Practice this. When you get up in the morning, before you say something to anybody, pray this prayer. And we're going to close out with that.